Oh, comparison. They say that it's a thief of joy, but girlfriend, it is a thief of quite literally everything. Trust me, I know because I used to compare myself so much all the time to other people, other women, other situations, and it just made me miserable. And thankfully, I have stepped out of that and I'm stepping into myself a lot more these days. So I want to pass down some things that I've learned along the way on this journey. If you are still battling with the ugly green monster of comparison. And I also want to say that comparison isn't necessarily something that we're going to get over just like that. But what we can do is make sure that it doesn't rule our lives. What I worked on is changing my relationship with comparison, and I feel so much better for it. Our nervous system was not meant to take in all of this information constantly. What we're going through right now is such a phenomenon with social media, having cell phones that give us so much access to everybody and everything on a regular basis, that our brains and our hearts are literally feeling things constantly, whether we want to or not. And comparison is one of those things that just happens to be flooding our screens and our palms regularly. We're exposed to thousands of different people, especially other women, on a regular basis. And it used to be a situation where we'd see other women in school, or we'd see other women in passing on the street or at work. But now it's like we have such a deeper look into the personal and intimate lives of other women that it's hard not to compare, and it's hard to look away a lot of the times. You know, when someone is posting their birthday trip to Cancun and they're showing all of their outfits, where they're staying, what airline they flew, where they're eating, you know, all of those details, we really get sucked in. I believe that if we shift the lens around what comparison is and how it makes us feel, that can make such a big difference, because there isn't anything wrong with seeing another woman succeed, or seeing another woman with the life that you want or the things that you want. What is the issue is how we interpret it, how we internalize that, and how we allow that to make us feel. Something that I've been doing a lot, especially when I'm seeing people close to me who are succeeding in a season where I feel like I'm not, is I tell myself, okay, this person who is in such close proximity to me is having the best year of their lives. They are getting win after win. So many amazing things are coming their way, and I am incredibly happy for them. And you know what? This also means that my big wins are coming soon too, because I'm in the ecosystem, I'm in the atmosphere, I'm in her universe. God is not just going to look out for her, He's going to look out for me too. We are in this together, and that energy that she is radiating, I am going to benefit from it as well. When I see my friend win, I then tell myself that means we all gonna win. I'm winning next. Whereas in the past, I have interpreted it as, oh, I'm behind, I've missed my window, or I'm not doing enough, or I'm not worthy, or bad things always happen to me, my life sucks. These are the things I used to tell myself when I saw people close to me winning. Replaying that in your mind is going to make it continue to happen. It's not going to get me, one, out of feeling like crap, or two, get me to the same point as that person. I think that when we spread love, we receive love. And when we open our hearts, we're so much more likely to receive than we are when our hearts are closed and we're angry and we're bitter and we're resentful. I think a lot of comparison has to do with grief. I believe that we're feeling a grief for what our life could have been, or what we thought our life would be by now. And the truth is, all of our paths are so different, and that's the beauty in it. That is the beauty in the life that God has created for all of us, that each of us has a unique one, a unique life, a unique path, a unique set of obstacles and twists and turns. And when we really internalize that and understand that no two paths are the same, and that this road that we're walking on is so unique to us, that makes it a little bit more beautiful. It's hard. Things are hard. It's really disappointing to see when you don't get to where you want in the time frame that you want, but knowing that it's not impossible, but it just may be different, then adds a little bit of optimism on top of what would have otherwise been really, really, really disheartening. Another big shift that I've made is to stop comparing timelines. Just because you and I are the same age doesn't mean that we're going through the same season. So just because someone is on their motherhood journey doesn't necessarily mean that I'm supposed to be on mine. This might be my season of locking into my career. Just because somebody else is excelling and making money moves and I'm at home with the baby doesn't mean that I am failing as a woman who is supposed to be flourishing in her career. This just means that it's my season to really hone in on my home life, my family life, and making sure that I'm nurturing my home base first before I present myself to the world. So we have to look at it as different seasons for different people. And your season isn't always going to be the exact same timeline as someone else's. When you look at someone and you're like, damn, I really want to be able to travel the world right now like this person. I'm always at home, I'm so miserable, and I just want to be out traveling the world and looking fabulous like this person. Stop for a moment and ask yourself, I would like to be traveling the world, but what season am I in right now? What area of my life am I being told to pause and really focus in on? Where in my life right now do I need to devote more of my attention, more of my prioritization to, in order to then free up some space for me to make travel and living my best life abroad a reality? Because a lot of times the reason things aren't happening is because we have to fix something right now. We have to work on where we are in the moment. And when we get that all situated, that's when so many doors open up for us, because you never want to rush a timeline, or you never want to rush your blessing, because a lot of times when you rush that blessing, as quickly as you get it is just as quickly as you lose it, because you haven't necessarily prepared yourself. I think we take the preparation and the process for granted. And then when we get the thing, we're either ungrateful for it, don't see that we've actually received it, or we lose it right away because we haven't worked on maintaining it just yet. So we have to go from a place of curiosity and ask ourselves, what is it that I need to work on right now? What area of my life is actually most important in this moment? Also, I have stopped judging myself when I start to feel a little bit of jealousy. Because it does happen. Again, I ain't perfect, all right? I am a human being with 2 eyes and 2 ears. And when I feel jealousy now, I allow myself to figure out where it's stemming from. Like, gather it as data. So if I look at someone and I just or if I'm scrolling on Instagram and someone's post makes me roll my eyes and I feel a little bit jealous, I then pause. Before I swipe away, I pause and I say to myself, okay, I'm actually jealous right now because I would like to be on that brand trip. I'm jealous right now because I would like to have a closet filled with my favorite designers. I am jealous right now because I would rather be on a family vacation. And when I stop and acknowledge it and actually admit to what I'm jealous about, it makes me less angry with the person, and also not even angry with my situation. It just opens me up to the understanding that, okay, it's because I want this thing. It's because my heart desires this particular thing. So next, my brain goes into, okay, how can I make it happen? How can I get a result from this jealousy? How am I going to use it to move me forward as opposed to having me stuck sitting here bitter and resentful? So utilizing and figuring out the source of your jealousy actually does so much more good than it does harm, because you're then like redirecting your mind to think of how you can now figure out this situation and how you can make it happen in your own life. Because comparison doesn't always mean that you want her life. It may just mean that you want more from your own life. Also, just because somebody is posting themselves constantly, somebody is in these streets all the time, out and about, doing the most, at every single event, at everyone's birthday party, going to the best restaurants, and it's publicly out there, that doesn't mean that that person is necessarily happy. It doesn't mean that they are fulfilled. It doesn't mean that their life behind the scenes is perfect. So I think when we stop equating visibility, publicity to fulfillment, to being the pinnacle, that's when we'll feel a little bit happier. There are so many people who will post every single day and look as glamorous as ever and be very unhappy, miserable, going through something that you have no idea about, or is in like the saddest, most broken part of their entire lives right now. Not everyone is going to share everything. So I do work on taking things with a grain of salt. I have never, ever, ever said like relationship goals to anyone or any particular relationship, because you really don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They can post as much and smile in as many photos as possible, but you really, truly never know. And I'm also taking that information from my own relationship. My relationship isn't perfect. We are extremely happy and I love my husband, but I know that there are times where we're going through a rough season and we're going through a rough patch and we're fighting, but I'm still showing up, doing my job on a regular basis, putting on my makeup, putting on my outfit, showing myself out and about. Meanwhile, deep down, I am sad because David and I had a big argument, or I am sad because there was a misunderstanding, So if I'm going to give myself that grace and understanding, I have to extend that grace to other people out there and know that not everything that we see is always the whole story. And if we're going to keep it real, not everybody keeps it real. There are some people out here truly faking it, not just moving on with life as usual, but actually editing and shifting the narrative and changing things around to make you think that their life is better than it actually is. And I know some of these people firsthand in my real day-to-day life. There are some people I know who are struggling, but you would never know because of the way that they present themselves online and the way that they've manufactured their online persona and presence to look like they are living the most lavish and amazing life. So just know that you're not comparing your real life to her real life. You're comparing your real life to her best performing moments. What's actually helped me, because I have found myself spiraling. I remember there was a particular creator who I had met before and talked to, and I thought was a really nice person. And I noticed that because she had reached out to me. She had a lower audience number than I did when she had reached out to me a while ago, like years ago. And we used to chit chat every now and then in the DMs. And I noticed over the months and over the year that she started to like skyrocket past me. And I didn't know this girl personally at that time. I didn't know her personally at all, but I would look at her page, I would look at her content, and I would just be like squinting my eyes, and I would just be like, now, how did she blow up and I didn't blow up? What makes her page so much better than mine? Why is she now, getting way more engagement? Why is it that everything she posts is turning to gold? And I found myself like spiraling, just like being mad every time I would see any content from this particular creator who had done nothing to me but show me love. And I had to stop myself because I was like, Aisha, you are being way too over the top about this, and you are allowing this to make you way more upset than you need to be. So I muted her for a while. And muting her allowed me to also take a step back and just be like, okay, I'm not going to look at her content right now. I'm just going to continue on and get it out of my mind. And we always forget that we have these options: mute, unfollow, limit how much we're scrolling. You know, we allow ourselves sometimes to be slaves to social media when we have the option to separate ourselves from it, to give ourselves the space to regroup, get our mind right, and remember who the hell we are so that we're no longer comparing. And I did that, and then I thought about it. I grew. I didn't mute her for very long, but I thought about it. I grew. I worked on myself and worked on the things that I wanted to do better, and then eventually unmuted her. And now I can see anything she posts, and I'm genuinely, genuinely happy for her. And I'm genuinely supportive of her because I realized that it was coming from a place of, I wanted these things. And I knew also that I wasn't putting in the work to get these things. So I was a little bit bitter. And I had to come clean with myself about that, because sometimes the jealousy and the comparison stems from us knowing deep down that we're not necessarily doing what we need to in order to receive the life that we want so badly. Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of jealousy and a little bit of acknowledgement to get our butts up and make us actually put in some of the work that we need to get shit done. Overall, though, what's really been my saving grace when it comes to comparison is that I have leaned into my own life. I've made my life my priority. I've made bettering myself, being more present, and taking care of the things in my life a big priority. And that helps me to stop comparing myself to others, because comparison gets louder when you're disconnected from your own life, and it gets quieter when you're actually truly, deeply living your own life. So girlfriend, I want you to know that your life is beautiful. Your life is in bloom. And if you continue to water it, that's going to help you to no longer compare, no longer allow jealousy to rule you, and to instead watch your life flourish and watch these seeds that you've planted bloom into a beautiful garden. Because the only person we have control over is ourselves. So once we master our minds, everything else starts to fall into place. And all of the things that we want will be ours. Presence, patience, and self-trust is the key, the winning ingredients to no longer comparing yourself and freeing yourself of that. Thank you so much again for watching. As always, let me know if you enjoyed this video and this little chat. Let's talk a little bit more in the comments section. I want to hear your thoughts on this topic and how comparison and jealousy have appeared in your life and how you've pushed back against it. I want to hear from you. Thank you again. I love you so, so, so much. Until next time.